So you've been following along with my series on the Raspberry Pi, and now it's time to install Docker and Portainer on it so you can start doing some fun stuff with different containers. In this one, I'm going to show you just how you do that. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up everybody? It's Ryan. Welcome back to Tech for Good. Today we are going to install Docker and Portainer on your Raspberry Pi. So first up, you're going to want to make sure your Raspberry Pi is booted up on your network and you know the IP address to it, because we're going to SSH into the device. If you don't know where to start and begin on that, make sure you go back and look at my other videos on how to install Raspberry Pi OS. I also have one that's on how to change the IP address, and I show you how to SSH into your device in that one. So make sure you're following that playlist. If you don't have a Raspberry Pi, well, check the link in the description below. You can pick one up. I have an 8 gig one that I'm using for this example, a Raspberry Pi 5. Works really great, so make sure you get one of those. But if you're here, obviously you already have one. So once you have everything booted up and your SSH into it, go ahead and come back to the video and we'll get started. Here we are at my Raspberry Pi. I'm SSH'd into it. And the first thing we want to do is we need to make sure everything is up to date. So we're going to go sudo apt update, and it's going to go looking for the update packages. And I'll put in the description below all these commands. You don't have to remember them all. You can just copy and paste. So you can see we do have some updates to do. Now we're going to go sudo apt upgrade -y. And the reason we're doing the -y is I don't want to hit yes or enter and all this stuff. I just want it to do it. So wait for that to go and do all its updates and we'll come on back. All right, now that we have everything updated, it's time to install Docker. And we're just going to take the command from the Docker website and paste it in here. It's a curl command. Don't worry, you don't have to type all this out. I'll put it in the description below, but literally we'll just paste this in there, curl-ssl, and then, docker pipe sh. We'll run that. And it's going to go ahead and download and install Docker. Next, what we're going to do is we'll have to add our username or our user to the Docker user, the sudo like admin account, so we can run some stuff without having to type sudo every single time. So now that we have that installed, you can see here Docker is installed. It pops up, it's running there. So let's clear that out. And we're going to run this sudo usermod -ag docker user. And this is going to add our user that we're logged in as right now to the Docker group. And that's great. And then now we want to see if Docker is going to run with any sort of containers. What we're going to do is we'll paste in docker run hello world. And as you can see there, it says you do not have permission. And the reason is we didn't log out and log back in. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and log out, and then we'll SSH back into our terminal and run that command again. So I'll go exit, and then we'll just go right back into our terminal here, enter in your password. Here we go. Clear that out. Now we can paste in docker run hello world. Unable to find the image. That's what we want. It's going to go ahead and download it. And then we should see right here, hello from Docker. That means we have Docker running and we have our very first container installed there. So that's great. That's exactly what we want. So now we need to go ahead and install Portainer. If you don't know what Portainer is, it's basically a graphic user interface via web browser that lets you administer all your Docker containers. So if you don't want to do everything via command line, we're going to use Portainer to do that instead. So the first thing we need to do is we need to pull the latest image of Portainer, pasting it there. That's from the Portainer website. Once again, don't worry, everything will be in the description below. I got you. So Docker pull Portainer and then the latest. That's going to go ahead and download everything and get that installed. And then what we want to do is make a volume called Portainer data. And that's where we're going to put all of the data for Portainer. So you see there, Portainer_data is now created. And then finally, the fun part is we're going to actually add this container. So when we pulled up further, the Docker pull, like portainer/portainer-ce latest, that just pulls the image. And so we have the image now in Docker, but we don't have the container actually running it. So this long command here, copy it from the description below. All you have to do is this part right here where it says -name Portainer, what you're going to name this container. I'm just going to call it Portainer because that's what this product is. And then we're going to go ahead and run it. And then you can see right here, this Portainer data, that's the folder that we made on the machine. And that's where Portainer is going to store all of its data. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. we should now be live. This is installed. So the next thing we need to do is go ahead and open up our web browser. We're going to go to this IP address and see if Portainer is running. So go ahead and fire up your web browser and come on back. Here we are on our browser, and what we're going to do is type in the IP address of our Raspberry Pi, and then we're going to do :9443, because if we recall, when we set up that Docker container, you could see it's port 8000, we mapped it to 9443. So what we're going to do here is go ahead and go 192.168.50.16, and then we'll do 9443. And then it says you cannot do it or HTTP request to HTTPS server. What we need to do here is at the beginning, https://. And there you go. You can go ahead and do advanced and then proceed. And so here we are at our Portainer login. All you have to do is type in, whatever you want the name to be for your admin account. It defaults admin, and then a password. And it said password must be at least 12 characters long. You can do allow anonymous statistics. I always uncheck that. So go ahead and type in whatever you want your admin name to be and your password and hit create user. You have to do this within 10 minutes of firing up the Docker container for this the first time. So again, type in your username, your password, and go ahead and click create user. And as you can see here, I waited too long to get this running. Like I just said, I've been timed out. You need to re-enable your Portainer instance to make this happen, or to, create your username. Let me show you how we do that real quick. So we're back over here in our terminal. I'll clear this out. And earlier I said it's 10 minutes. It's actually a 5-minute timeout. I think it used to be 10 minutes and they changed it. So you got to act quick to get in there. What we need to do is we need to stop the container. So we'll docker stop Portainer. And now we're going to start it. So docker start Portainer. And that should allow us to now refresh and get back into our site. Let me delete the timeout. Create your account here. Again, if that happened to you that 5 minutes, go ahead and create your account and then create user. And now we are in. Welcome to Portainer. And this isn't going to be a Portainer guide. I just wanted to show you how to install Portainer and Docker on your Raspberry Pi. But what you can do is if you go into the home, you can go into your containers here, and you can see right here, that is our hello world one that we ran the very first time. And then Portainer, that's the one that we just installed. And there you go. That is how you install both Docker and Portainer on your Raspberry Pi. I hope you enjoyed this video. All of the commands that we ran are going to be in the description below. Let me know in the comments if you have any issues or questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Again, thank you for supporting this channel, Tech for Good. Follow this playlist for Raspberry Pi stuff. And until next time, stay safe, have fun, and keep doing good.